there everyone, welcome back to another Vanguard video. It's been a little while since I've made one of these. I think the last one I made was back when overdress was officially announced, and I was talking about the good things in one video and how excited I was about a lot of the changes, and then I was talking about a lot of my concerns as well in another video. And the reason I haven't made any Vanguard videos since then is because I didn't really see the value in sort of jumping to these conclusions week to week without really having a complete picture. And I still think to an extent we don't really have a complete picture, but I did want my initial impressions to be out there around this time, just if nothing else, just to kind of look back and see what I was thinking around this time. So the first thing I want to say before we do get started is I'm uploading this and recording this right after the final trial deck gimmicks for Brandgate have been revealed. So all information is sort of, all my opinions are up to date as of today, the 2nd of March. One big thing this means is we don't know about any of the defensive mechanics in the game, and it's announced that next week, as again at the time of this recording, we're going to be finding out about Sentinels, so presumably that's going to be like a big thing in terms of defensive mechanics and all that. So basically keep that in mind with a lot of the things I say. Also, it seems like these start decks are meant to be at quite a reasonably high power level, like they're intending for these boss monsters to be like used for, I guess, years or at least months. So that's good, and I'll also sort of evaluate with that in mind. But enough rambling, enough preamble. Let's get started with my impressions. So first, there is Dragon Empire, and this was by far the one I was least excited for. I genuinely didn't care. I'm sick to death of dragons. Bushiroad does them way too much, in my opinion. So I really wasn't overly interested. Overdress, it's fine. It's cool. Put a thing on top of a thing, get a bonus. It's just a fancy 2-card combo, in my opinion. It's a fancy 2-card combo with some really annoying rulings that you're going to have to deal with, so sure. In terms of my impressions for the power level of it and how fun I think it is to play, I really like the ride deck thing they've got going to sort of ensure that you will consistently get your pieces. You'll always get your Valrena, you'll always get your Trickstar. I don't like that you have to run a 4 of grade 0. I don't like that at all. I am... the order's okay you Cannon Blast 1 to give a unit 5k and then add Valrena. Like, it's all Varina, whatever it is. It's all right. In terms of the boss monster, Nirvana, so you're getting back your Trickstar, and you buff all your overdressed unit, all your units with the overdress keyword. So it's just big power. Pretty boring, in my opinion. All this deck really looks like it's going to be is like turn 4, slam down your Persona Ride, make sure you've got 2 Valrenas good to go, like just on the board. If one of them is overdressed, stonks. If both of them are, then brilliant. And just push face, basically, and try and win that turn. Seems kind of boring, in my opinion. Not particularly excited. Seems like the kind of baseline for decent. As far as like my interest at the moment, it is rock bottom. But the nice thing about Dragon Empire is there are plenty of clans that have been folded into this which do have interesting gimmicks. They've obviously started off with the most mind-numbingly boring, but I'm sure it'll get better in time. Worth saying the overtrigger is pretty ridiculous. Just a restand, it's pretty stonks. I'll make a whole video on overtriggers when we find out whether or not we're getting best of 3 events, because if we're getting best of 3 events, then my opinions mellow out quite a lot on that. But if we're not, then Bushiroad continue to prove themselves to be clowns. Anyway, that's my impressions on Dragon Empire. Bottom of the, like, by far, like through the earth down to China, and then just keep going up through the atmosphere again, like as far away as possible. I really don't care about this. Okay, next there is Dark States, Drip States. I was initially most excited for, Brandgate and Drip States were the 2 that I was really excited for. They're the 2 I found the most interesting. Drip States from an aesthetic point of view, and Brandgate from a gameplay point of view. Those were the 2 I was most excited for. Stokehair was cool as well. I kind of always wanted to play those clans. I could never afford them back when I played the game. Well, no, that's a lie. I could afford them. They were just never like super good. This was back when Raging Form, like Eradicators, TBD, and that kind of stuff. So they were never like as good as those. But anyway, This whole final rush thing, again, fine. Big cost, do big push. Now, this is essentially a 5 attack force deck without the force, which is, like fine. The only way you're able to do it, though, will be turn 4, and you're presumably going to Persona Ride, so it's essentially like it's a 5 attack force deck. You got front triggers, it's fine, it's just loads of attacks, push face. The order is just a Soul Charge 2, which is fine, if like really boring. Mainly I'm just interested in this for the future potential and the current like art. I'm a big fan of the art style and the art and the whole general vibes that it gives off. But then in the future, I think with like Pale Moon and stuff folded in, like we will get cool things. Pale Moon has always been one of the clans in Vanguard that actually did something vaguely interesting. So yeah, this will be good. Oh, I suppose I should say I basically didn't follow V, so if like stuff that I say, it's like, oh, they already did that in V, or what do you mean you find that interesting? They blah blah. I didn't. I haven't played Vanguard since like early G, so yeah. Basically, looks okay. I would say I'm a little disappointed compared to how much I initially liked it. I would say that's definitely toned down a little. It's probably like, it's pretty close to the bottom. Not gonna lie. But only because it's a Spike Brothers kind of style, and I'm Spike Brothers whatever. As I say, when it gets more and more things from the other clans, and I think I'll be a lot more interested. But I do really like the art, so that's my impression there. Number 3 is Taka Sanctuary, and this was like right after Dragon Empire, the one I did not care about. I played all the Paladins back when I was 14, and I grew up a little. This one's interesting. So this was the first art deck where I was like, oh, that's legitimately quite different and cool, and that's because fine. Okay, as far as I was concerned, overdress was just a fancy 2-card combo. Here they're actually leveraging the fact that the ride deck exists to build a deck that would not function like during previous Vanguard. So if nothing else, this will just be a new experience in play. Now, one of the big concerns that I've seen people having with this is like, oh, it's all grade 3, so what are you going to do for guarding? Bro, there's no guarding anywhere at the moment. I'm not even considering that right now. I'm sure there will be something. There was some speculation that the grade 3 order is going to like buff all their grade 3s to give them shield. I don't care, whatever. I'm sure they will get something to make them able to compete. There's only 5 like nations now. Bushy Red won't fuck that up. They're idiots, but they're not that stupid. In terms of what this deck does, again, it's not overly interesting. It's still the kind of just restand blah blah. But the fact that I can finally play a Morikawa deck and it not sucking is doing a little something for me. And you're suddenly with all these great things, you're getting big power beat sticks that you can just smash, which is cool. It sort of feels like going to the future. That will probably mean that you will have a really really nice end game potentially, and I think there's like if they get lots of boss monsters that counter different strategies, this could be cool in terms of sort of being able to guarantee those. I'm not 100% sure if you're allowed to change your ride deck between games. You're probably not. But if you were, that would be a really cool thing you could do. Yeah, it's I would say Taka Sanctuary is kind of in the middle. Tied with Dark States, because the aesthetics are like fine, but I think at least the whole grade 3 thing is pretty cool. Definitely I want to see a lot more of it, and like what it's actually doing. On to the girls, who I Bushy Road, they can do better. I'm not a fan of either. But if the 2 biggest Vanguard content creators want to engage in a simp war over 2 objectively C-tier waifus, it's up to them. So okay, it's really cool. It's just it's like really cool. Okay, really cool by Vanguard standards. Like, oh, you get to restand your back row and swing with them. So like, okay, it's just another like 5-6 attack deck, whatever. But there is something cool to that. The fact that you can swing from back row. It's doing the whole Aqua Forcey thing. The artwork's cool. I like it. I think again there's a lot of potential here for future stuff when they start getting some more interesting clans. But I am a fan of the fact that you can just go boom fat field, fat loads of attacks, which is cool. We haven't seen the order for this, but it's called Call to Beast, so I'm going to assume that it calls some things. It's fine. But I would say, like, in terms of power level, this is, to me, looks like it's probably the best one. It's like this, then like Drip States, then like Kita and Dragon Empire. Or I guess like Dragon Empire, then Kita. Brandgate is at the bottom on the power level right now. I've got a lot to say about Brandgate, honestly, but as of this, like, yeah, it's more Vanguard. It looks cool. Looks cool. Are you starting to see why I didn't want to make an individual video for each one of these? It's Vanguard. Like, come on, there's really not that much to say. Until now. Brandgate. Okay, this one's really cool. This one's actually legitimately really cool. This is as excited as I was for Kita, with them actually leveraging the fact there's a ride deck here, they're actually doing something unique. So a new type of Order Zone, which is essentially a field spell. And the way this deck works is it's like a control deck, where you you put your opponent's cards in jail. Now, you don't have a great deal of agency at the moment over what actually gets put in jail. Like, the Grade 2 will do it from hand, but your opponent chooses that. And the Grade 3 will do it from field, but to an extent your opponent chooses that as well. Like, you can make the best of what they give you, but it's not hard to play around. If you know this is coming, you can just put some crap down that you're not too concerned about losing. Which, that is what it is. However, I think this this by far has the most future potential to be strong out of anything. And already I'm a massive simp for control decks, I should say. Like, I love control decks so much. Like, by far they're like my favorite type of deck to play. So already I was kind of like, okay, well, this is why, like, initially Brant was like up there as a consideration. I really didn't care too much about the fact that it was waifus or whatever. It looked like Maribel Aerial Team as well, which is cool. Anyway, at the moment, and I cannot stress this enough, this is dog shit. This is so bad right now. Like, I would never ever want to play this in the trial deck only format. You would have such a bad time. I don't see how you stand. Like, every other deck, their turn 4 is they're just going to push your face in and you're going to pray you survive. This deck's turn 4 is you slow down your opponent's turn 4, except not really, because nothing even counterblasts and they're not even really using Soul. So, like, they'll just get it back. Yeah. Trial deck format, this is dog shit. And to an extent, I'm even expecting this to kind of suck in set 1. By sort of nature of the way they've designed this, I think this is really going to take a long time to be good. But I think when it is good, it'll probably be kind of oppressive. Bushy Road never really manages to strike that right balance with control decks, so I'm looking forward to that. But I do think there's a huge amount of like just generic future potential. Just for interaction. Like, imagine Blitz Order during your opponent's turn. Choose one of your opponent's units. Jail it. That would be good. Like, start of your opponent's attack phase, jail some units. Like, I think that would be really good. And I think that's a pretty likely thing we might see. And that's the kind of thing I would like to see in Vanguard. So yeah, power rankings, rock bottom. Hype rankings for me, way at the top. I think that's kind of it as far as my impressions go. Oh, the only thing is... it comes with 2 copies of the order. Not sure why. I think you'd ever only need 1, unless there's a bunch of soul blasting. And it comes with like 4 copies of... All of them do this. They come with like 4 copies of the stuff that you're clearly putting in the ride deck that has a really, really crap on playability, so you're just going to not play. Like, I do imagine a great... Like, you probably won't even need to... Like, they're so cheap that it doesn't matter, but like... You could probably just buy that SP set of just the one of each of them, and that's probably all you need from the Revival Collection or whatever they're going to reprint in. Anyway, those are my initial impressions. Let me know what you guys think. What are you most excited for? Have I massively underrated any of them? Don't think I have. I think at the end of the day, it's Vanguard. There's a certain bar there, and I think they've surpassed it in a couple of instances, and I think they've stayed very much within their confines in others. But I am excited. Now, sort of, remain cautiously optimistic. I'm not doomsaying. I'm not omega hyping. Oh, overDress is the greatest game ever. I still think Gate Ruler is like 10 times the game Vanguard will ever be at the moment. But I think there is potential for Vanguard to be good. And I'm looking forward to seeing what the rest of the start decks look like. So I'll make another video when we have like a full picture of the start decks and I can talk about the defensive mechanics and all that kind of stuff. And then I'm looking forward to the main set stuff, which we're going to start getting next week. Can we just see the whole start decks before you start showing us like main set cards? I know this is meant to like the start deck is meant to release on it's like March or something. So whenever that is, we'll see. But yeah, all right. That's it, guys. Like, subscribe, and I'll see you in tomorrow's video. Cheers.